parties. For instance, because of CWC, you must send that communique to all the affected state governors, if not the 36 state governors. You must send what is relevant to the office of the vice president to him, so that when you begin to do your follow-up advocacy visits and all of that, these people will be familiar with things that are trending in community pharmacy in Nigeria. I think that makes sense. One of my friends will say, should make sense. And I think it makes sense.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I want us to be categorical about one of the points that were discussed earlier on. And that's the issue that borders on the resolution that was taken at the council. The resolution that was taken at the council of PSN. I'm glad that the PCN representative of that council saying now that that's not what they mean. Because I was like an orphan there. For those who were there, I was like an orphan. But I think I stood up to make my orphan statement. And I said it that indeed the majority will have their ways, but the minority will have their say. And I was categorical to make my say that what was being proposed that is going to put chaos and is going to put council into a problem. It was at that point the president now came up to say, okay, it is not going to be that the pharmacists must be there. But let us make it, I wait for resolution of this conference to say, because we needed to make a position to council and to PSN that whatever is not in tandem with the provisions of the law, the existing law, and perhaps the one we are expecting, Acpn will not agree with it. Okay. If that's our resolution, then, but if it's contrary, I now know what to do. I mean, what to follow after.
Can we just adopt this approach? Let me establish, without fear of favor, if I believe the PSN National Council will not make some mistakes, but even if they have done, there is no problem as far as I'm concerned. If we are working in tandem with the law, you go ahead and strengthen whatever you're going to do as Acpn. All we need to do is that when you have your resolution, you have a board of trustees. At least 2 of those trustees are past presidents of the PSN. I'm very much aware. And I see 1 or 2 of the other trustees here. All that we might need to do is to have a dialogue with the president of PSN. There is no confrontation. It's just to draw the attention of Mr. President to the appropriate and relevant portions of law. At any rate, I'm very sure the PCN cannot begin an implementation mode of something that is contrary to law. So there is no problem. It's either there is a communication gap or information, our appropriate information has not been brought to the attention of the concerned parties. And I think it's something we can manage very well. So if you think you have, if you think there are problems, like I said, that's one of the reasons you have trustees. We'll get your trustees and they will sort it with the president and leadership of PSN. But of course, it must be very well managed. There is no need for confrontation. There is no need to generate entropy. So now, it's been a long day. It's almost 2:30. We were supposed to be through with this at 2. So please, if there are issues that have to do with the PSN itself, Acpn, if there are striking things that we must draw attention to with NAFDAC, those who want to raise such issues, please raise up your hands, and then we try to do it in a jiffy so that we can get out of this meeting for colleagues to go and have lunch and some rest. Are there issues that have to do with Acpn, PSN, NAFDAC? I recognize you before, sir. So you have to give room to other people. You give room for other people to talk now. except if we don't have too many of them. Is it okay? We have Pharmacist Okoli. I should not have recognized you because you are the only one who comes up in these immaculate attires. Don't talk about holiness where I am, Okoli, so that I don't expose you. Yes, of course, I will recognize you, my chairman. Is it only Pharmacist Okoli and Mr. Adeniro we have? If those are the only two, I think you can. There's another. Oh, okay. Please step forward. And we have to make this really, really brief. Really, really brief. Please. Yes, please step forward and please pass the mic to them. My brother, please come and pass the mic. We'll make this very, very brief.
Thank you very much, Chairman. All protocols duly observed. My question is not to any of you on the high table, but a suggestion that we must do something drastic and to save the situation on ground. I'm the chairman, Lagos State, and I know what we are going through amongst our members in this issue of I am Acpn, I am NAPA, I am all others. Just because some people are agitating that they want to be able to register their premises wherever they are, and the law does not allow it. You have explained it. We know what is right. But I still think we need a forum where all of us, especially at the next conference, where this thing will be explained to all, the nitty-gritty about it. Let us understand it.
Please, where are the other people so that we know how to manage? Please go on, ma.
So, all of us will really understand this issue and not blame it on any technical group. Because the way it's going, it's like everybody is castigating Acpn as against NAPA, Acpn, and we need to really discuss it, explain it, and make us to understand very well. That's my suggestion.
Thank you very much. Please hand over the mic to the next. Just before he does that, I think what we should do, Chairman Acpn, I think what we do, since it appears this is becoming, and I am familiar with the background, it was in a bid to assert feelings of those who thought we were doing them wrong, that Acpn had to allow and concede to satellite pharmacy and all that. I think what we'll do, therefore, for as a first step, is to set up an interaction between trustees of Acpn with the president. You have to allow the president to understand a few things. It is at that point, it is only when you have that type of buy-in. I have been president before, and I know that I know if you are not particularly convinced about certain things, so we will try to create that platform. I will also try to get involved. I will try to talk to some of those trustees, and we'll see how we can solve that problem. Once the president buys into it, we would also, as a secondary or a follow-up, set up a consultation with all the other technical groups through their headship. And then I am sure we can solve that. We can cross that hurdle. Yes, sir. Go on.
The chairman, other protocols are respectively observed. Well, please pardon me in case, because like I missed on proceeding. Despite the fact that we have listed various strategies that can boost our practice, I want to believe we are here for a disruptive innovation approach. So probably maybe there are ways others are doing it,
and I don't know if it is happening in other states. Then two, sir, what is the current position on the concept of chain pharmacy? Thank you.
Because of that, I got your question. And I will seek, and we have to create the indulgence of panelists because we really have to make this fast. I understand the food bill is on tight position, so we need to break up the session as soon as possible. You know, one of the things I said, pharmacist Jim, because you are also an experienced assistant PSMist. Of course, I agree with that. But you see, the attitude, one of the things I have learned now in leadership is you don't just make pronouncements. Your first priority in leadership is to put in place appropriate structures. When I was president of the PSA, one of the reasons I thought of a fee-based practice was to address measures like this. You know, in my experience and interactions with other professionals, one of the things that keep older colleagues at bay is that when you have built some level of goodwill, those sales, those professional staff and sales, they can bring bread and butter on the table any day later. That's why I said we should be looking at some dimension of the fee-based practice. Of course, that's only one, and there's so many other ones. So, our priority therefore will be, if there are members who have suggestions, please come up with memorandum. Don't let those ideas die with you. I know that there are other suggestions, welfare training programs. Let's bring them, let's begin to write those things so that our leadership can subject them to necessary appraisals through the relevant committees, and then we can pick the salient bits. Yes, Felix.
Good afternoon, my President, the Chairman, and my colleagues. I want to find out if there is an urgency from the PCN in registration of premises, especially wholesale premises. Because in my state, over the past 2 to 3 years, we have about more than 200 premises owned by non-pharmacists, and about 50 premises, patent premises, converted to pharmacies. You know, and we are shocked, really, because a number of my colleagues, in fact, the worst feeling an ACPN chairman in any state can have is your colleagues coming to tell you they can no longer continue with the practice. They are closing up. You should now help them find employment.
Because all the wholesalers are retailers.
Exactly. You know, and just what you said you shouldn't be having more people entering when you don't have a structure to control these things.
Let me just give a suggestion so that we don't go on and on, Felix. I'm very familiar with that problem. I think, and brilliant people like you, Felix, and people of your generation, you need to send a memorandum to Pharmacists Council. Wait. Send a memorandum. I have never suggested this, but listen to it. If you think it's serious enough. There was a time in Lagos, I remember, I think it was Pharmacist Tayo Adeogun who did that study. And we discovered that for every 3 retail premises, we had a wholesale outfit. For every 3 retail premises. It got that bad. Now, I think moving forward, one of the things we need to do in pharmacy to save ourselves this trouble is that those memorandums need to come now. Send copies to the president of PSN, who will be chairman, law, and ethics. Brief him comprehensively so that he understands what you are talking about. If you want to be a wholesaler, let us raise the bar in Nigeria. You can't be a wholesaler with a premises of 50 square meters. I see the type of wholesale network people like Ernest Okafor in Lagos and a few people run. Ochuko, New Dimension. You can't walk into such wholesale. So, the way to address it, and I think this type of things should go into your communique. Well, even if it does not go into communique, but listen, if it is acceptable. If you want to be a wholesaler in Nigeria, then you need sufficient financial muscle. We might begin to say you must have a store space of 200 square meters. I don't know. These are just my thoughts. If you say store space of 200 square meters, Common sense dictates that you need the equivalent of a warehouse or 2 duplexes. So you have knocked out so many people. You must have delivery vans, delivery motorcycles, because we want to change the nature of the game. We want wholesalers who can take, and you rationalize it. We want wholesalers who can take stock to the doorstep of retailers or hospital or wherever they are supplying, so that superintendent pharmacists can stay on duty. You know what you are doing as professionals, but there is a way to sell it, that we are protecting people, so we want pharmacists to be available at their duty post. That's the selling point. Because I have looked at the law, and the truth is there's no way you can legitimately stop a man who files application. Let us be fair to these people who are the registry of council. Under the law, they are bound to process the form. But the day we adopt raising of the bar for those who will be wholesalers in Nigeria, we might be on the road to solving that problem. You will see that the number of applications will drop drastically, because the number of people who can meet such provisos will be people who want to do genuine wholesaling. And that's why I said we don't need to begin to flex muscle with people. We are more intelligent than these people. Let us go to the drawing board and strategize effectively. Things that appear foolproof. And that's the way to put some people in their proper position. And I think this is the time to generate such memoranda or memorandum, so that by the time you have council, that thing goes to law and ethics. Once law and ethics approve it, I have been chairman of that committee, it goes to plenary. The day the governing council of PCN approves it as a new minimum standard or benchmark for wholesaling, it becomes law. Because the law empowers pharmacists council to regulate and control in all these aspects and ramifications in Nigeria. So you have law, and there are court judgments that have affirmed that it is within the purview of the powers, the rights of pharmacists council to do those things. And I think that those are the type of things we should be looking at.
Oh, sir, sorry. Before we close that matter, I want to say that the Edo case is a very serious one. And I knew that I've taken up the matter earlier in the year at a point. Very unfortunate that we have a state officer in Edo that is
Compromising.
too compromising
Oh,
if there's anything to use.
No
And I want to pass the message across to,
Don't pass the message verbally.
yes,
If you have such cases, the best, in fact, the registrar encourages it. He said it here. Write formally. Write a formal petition as Acpn, not even Edo now.
Yes.
That you have continually received reports. If all the stakeholders there begin to say it, I'm sure there's no state that does not have these critical challenges. It's just that because you have the likes of Felix, who can articulate their viewpoints a little more robustly than others, they will showcase their own peculiar challenges. So let us do it holistically.
that's all right.
If there are more pressing needs, we will deal with them. Write to the registrar of council and follow it up. I'm sure you know we all have his hearing. Deputy President, you are intimidating us.
The chairman.
We said this will be the last speaker. So without invitation, Deputy President just came. And she knows that we don't have a choice. She's invoking the power of PSN and apps.
Okay, the chairman of the...
Don't use that holy voice. Just say it.
Okay, thank you very much. For me, mine is just a comment. Comment in the sense that the game in the boardroom is usually won before the board meeting, and is won through negotiation. I think Acpn may need to increase negotiation with all the other technical arms, particularly romancing with the parent body, which is the PSN, and ensuring that we secure a buy-in. The story of pharmacy in Nigeria will change the day NAFDAC PCN and PSN, of course by implication Acpn, start speaking one language. And I think that time has come. I must thank the chairman of this session for the comment he made that we need to strategize and then get closer to PSN presidents to ensure a buy-in. So every effort should be put towards ensuring that NAFDAC, PSN, PCN, and of course all the technical arms are speaking one language. We are lucky we have a registrar that is a PSN person and who gives a listening ear always. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much for, that's experience. I think a rider to what Sokoli just said is that, there used to be this very powerful committee in organized pharmacy those days. There used to be a committee of only the president of PSN used to chair it. We used to have the president PSN, registrar of council, DG NAVDAC. Tony Oyawole, there were two other people in that committee. Director of Food and Drugs. One other important thing, I think there were 5. So they used to meet regularly. It might not be, they might decide the frequency. The whole idea is all the major pillars in organized pharmacy. Just like he said, you want to facilitate a situation whereby, because they consult regularly, we're speaking continually in one voice. Nobody is working at cross purpose to the pharmacy agenda. Probably you want to suggest that at AGM, let it also appear to be an initiative of the Acpn. I know that in the closing stages of the Ahmed Yakasai presidency, we had also suggested that there should be a regular, in fact, a pre-NEC consultative meeting of the PSN president and the technical groups of PSN. Some of the things we're talking about here this afternoon, if you had that type of periodic interaction, it will promote it will promote the spirit of good pharmacy practice, which is all we're working on. Okay. Let me just, the chairman of State Dynamics Committee says all members of the committee should stay behind, right? Because there will be a meeting immediately after this session. Madam Deputy President, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to respond to what pharmacist Felix from Edo State about the PIC activities. I think as community pharmacists, we are not actually doing enough. Because like I've been said in some of the comments, it's so easy to put the blame at the foot of the PCN. Why do I say this? In Ogun State, when I was state chairman, that was the first time I attended the inspectors committee meeting. And when I went there with the reports that we were giving, in fact, my DPS was put forward as, I think, the second best performing DPS. And I was sitting behind her. She would look at me like this, as if you say I'm not doing anything, but I'm being recognized here. I just kept quiet, collected all my data, got back to Abeokuta, Ogun State, and in our meeting I said, I don't understand. I just came from a meeting. The reports that are given, as far as I have seen, they are no reports from Ogun State. They are no reports from PIC. And so what did I do? We were able to enlighten people of what PIC should do, the powers of inspectors and all that. Until today, I'm sure, I don't know of other states, but for Ogun State, we've been able to raise our bar. In Ogun State, we've been able to say, by the time the PIC was meeting very regularly, and we came to a point, because we were told at that inspectors meeting, that it is what we recommend to the PCN, that the PCN will approve. In other words, every application for a pharmacy to be open will pass through the state PIC. And so what we did was to make sure that our state PIC was effective. And so, in Ogun State for the past 2 years, we even went as far as saying, Now we have the statistics of the wholesalers and the retailers. And the wholesalers cannot outnumber the retailers. And so we put in something we call ratio 4:1. We have had a lot of problems with it, but we have still, even till the last meeting we had 2 weeks ago, we still have issues about it, but we have stood our ground. And what is ratio 4:1? If you want to open a wholesale outlet, you must be able to prove that there are 4 retail outlets that you are going to service. If you don't prove that, if you don't show that evidence, we don't give you approval. And I can tell you that it has paid off so much. The council can tell you how many wholesale outlets have opened in Ogun State in the past 2 years. We've been able to stand our ground. The commissioners, 2 commissioners have taken us up so much problem from it. But we have said, apart from what is in the law, we have our own guidelines. This is Ogun State PIC guidelines, and you must follow. And they are all following. Even at the time that Lagos State stopped the wholesale licensing, they were running to Ogun State, but we were ready for them. So, please, in our various states, I want to just advise, it's not enough for us to say that maybe our DPSs are not working and all that. We must fight. We fought. We made enemies. There are people that were not greeting me for so many years, but I was not bothered. I told them after youth service, I opted to go into community. That is my interest. And I don't want to come to hospital because my love is for community. You are in the hospital, you are living your life, you are carrying on your practice. Don't come and ruin the one that I am. And that is my passion. We've been able to stand our ground. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes we are not doing enough as community pharmacists in the state's PICs. Don't be afraid. Do what you are supposed to do.
Thank you.
You will fight, but at the end of the day, the benefits outweighs whatever comes out of it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Deputy President Pearson. I acknowledge with a sense of responsibility. I mean, you've spoken very well. But there are still states that will have peculiar challenges. Because some dramatists personnel are probably Satan incarnates. That's the truth. I remember there was a time in Edo, when I was on council, Edo had huge challenges with a particular person who was in charge of the pharmaceutical directorate. In fact, it got so bad, that man had to be removed as chairman PIC. So that's one dimension of that whole thing. The other, however, is that, like Foyibo said, some of our people too are not up and doing. I do know, for instance, because we put those things together when we were in council, that all inspection reports are supposed to be signed by the chairman of PIC, who is the DPS, and the vice chairman, who is supposed to be the state PSN chairman. So if the state chairman of PSN signs, then how do we complain that that we have impropriety? On the other hand, if the chairman PSN is not signing, then it amounts to gross negligence that you have abdicated your responsibilities. And we need to look at these things. Because of our time, I will just want all our panelists to come up with passing shots, some postscripts, so that we can formally close this session. So I think I'd like to start from Mr. President. I assume, I want to appeal to you in particular. You have seen the passion with which people spoke here. There are things that will be referred to Mr. President. We must encourage Jojo so that this system, sometimes when you have criticisms and all that, it's a clear sign that the system is growing, and we must encourage it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To me, it's very interesting to hear all the comments, submissions, and apprehensiveness about some issues. But I want to summarize it this way. I think most of these issues center on one, the pharmacy bill. If that bill is assented to today, certainly some of these issues will be a thing of the past. 2, inauguration of the PCN Council. If the council is inaugurated today, there are areas that the council can come in strongly with the authority it has to ensure that some of these our fears are also allayed. 3, I have seen that we need a lot of collaboration and integration amongst ourselves, within the technical groups and also between the technical groups and the leadership of PSN, so that we begin to understand ourselves the more, even before some of these issues are brought out to the forefront. I can imagine if some of these issues we don't discuss and then we get to AGM and somebody brings it up. You can imagine the kind of rowdiness, the kind of misunderstanding, misconception that will come up. So I think let's try to put things right, in the right process, and ensure that everybody is carried along at every given opportunity. Let me comment that, let me also let you know that the PSN is in support of all regulatory activities of the PCN at any time. And achieving the closure of the open market, the takeoff of the CWC is sacrosanct. This PSN cannot run away from, and we're also fully in consonant with that. I will also take back to the president the suggestion that possibly the PSN should see the vice president of the Republic of Nigeria, and then have our message passed on to the governors over the CWC land approvals. Let me also chip in that concerning the national drug policy, I must say that in this country, if you are talking about policies, honestly, we have tons of policies in the best shapes and sizes and whatever. However, one of the major issues we have with policies is that we formulate very fantastic policies without implementation plans. If you don't have implementation plan on ground, how do you achieve the policy itself? I am privileged to be in the committee reviewing the current national drug policy, which was reviewed last 13 years ago. 2005, okay, yes. And that's even 14. I came in through the WHO as a technical advisor to WHO. And one of the first things we asked, why did the first one fail? Because we went through all the goals, the objectives, and we discovered that, honestly, we couldn't score up to 10 or 15%. And we discovered that there was no implementation plan. But we can't throw everything to the government. As a technical group, and also as PSN, we should also begin to look at areas that concern us in such policies, and then begin to put forward our own suggestion on how to achieve such. In this regard, I think these are the few comments I have for now. All the messages here will be taken on to PSN, and I will ensure better collaboration and integration. Thank you.
Thank you, my president. Thank you. So, parting shot from Ahmed.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of the registrar, want to appreciate the leadership of our society for putting together a forum like this called town hall meetings. Because like the president say, things like this, if they are to go to the AGM, the opportunity to discuss them extensively is always not there. And of course, it becomes garbage in, garbage out. Here we have sufficient time to discuss and to take positions, create forum for proper understanding. All I can say at the end is there's need for stronger collaboration. Because once there's a gap, perceptions, suspicions come in, and we need to be one. There is need for us to work as one, as a group, as a profession. And it is my prayer that God will make us achieve that. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you. Mine is just to thank everyone, the panelists, the town head, and all my colleagues for your patience. We promise you that we'll be finishing by 2 o'clock, all our sessions. Unfortunately, this has extended till 3. So thank you for sparing 1 hour to make us have a fruitful deliberation. On this note, I want to say thank you. Thank you very much.
So, distinguished colleagues, distinguished colleagues, I want to thank you. It is not easy to get people's attention for almost 2 hours, non-stop. And you have been a very, very wonderful audience. I want to thank you. And I believe the take-homes will enhance the quality of our practice. It will raise the bar. It will project us as practitioners and as a profession to greater heights, much more than you can imagine. Leadership needs your assistance. Please do not hold back. Do not hesitate to extend hands of fellowship, even when you are not invited. Do have an attitude that this is my own, my very own. For me, I do not wait to be invited to things that have to do with pharmacy. In fact, I like it best when they don't like my face. When they don't want me to come there, that's when I will deliberately go there. I don't know that the time was going to come that people will be talking about innovations in disrupting procedures. But some of us built expertise in that a long time ago. Because there is always a way to turn passive negativity into positivism. So I believe we are cruising, we are marching on very well, and we will get to the promised land by His grace. Once again, I want to thank the Acpn chairman, NEC, and the planning committee for inviting me in this capacity. It is my hope that the conference will run its course successfully. It will bat very well on a positive note tomorrow evening when we have a banquet. And by His grace, those of us who see only at conferences, we will meet at the next one in Kaduna, hopefully. My brethren and those people know themselves. I hope we can continue our own conference at the usual place even after this evening. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
In Emzor paracetamol.
Please, can we proceed to the lunch break? They're waiting for us. Thank you for waiting for this long.
Pain? Emzor paracetamol. Feel better. Do better. Malaria? Lock it down. Lock down malaria with Lockmal Combi. Lockmal quickly and effectively clears malaria parasites from the body and makes you malaria-free. Lockmal Combi, a brand of artimethyllumethantrine, comes with 12 bonus tablets of Emzor paracetamol. Lockmal, lock down malaria and feel even better. Pain? Emzor paracetamol. Feel better. Do better. Pain? Emzor paracetamol. Feel better. Do better. Malaria? Lock it down. Lock down malaria with Lockmal Combi. Lockmal quickly and effectively clears malaria parasites from the body and makes you malaria-free. Lockmal Combi, a brand of artimethyllumefantrine, comes with 12 bonus tablets of Emzor paracetamol. Lockmal, lock down malaria and feel even better. Pain? Emzor paracetamol. Feel better. Do 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 better.
And the award for Best Actress goes to Joker Silva.
I almost didn't make it here today, but thanks to Emzor Para 1000, with just one caplet, I'm back on top.
Emzor Para 1000. Maximum relief in one caplet. If symptoms persist for more than 3 days, see your doctor.
Pain? Fever? Headaches? Life should be lived to the fullest. Trust Emzor paracetamol to give you fast relief and get back to enjoying life.
Brilliant goal!
Emzor paracetamol makes you feel better. Great control. Keep your head up. Emzor paracetamol. Feel better. Do better.
Brilliant goal!
Malaria? Lock it down. Lock down malaria with Lockmal Combi. Lockmal quickly and effectively clears malaria parasites from the body and makes you malaria-free. Lockmal Combi, a brand of artimethyllumefantrine, comes with 12 bonus tablets of Emzor paracetamol. Lockmal, lock down malaria and feel even better. Lockmal Combi, a brand of artimethyllumefantrine, comes with 12 bonus tablets of Emzor paracetamol. Lockmal, lock down malaria fast.
Oh, this medicine will not even work, sir.
They remember all the Akpn or the Egusi.
I am
Maxwell.
How did they even remember?
I bring you maximum wellness from Emzor. If you don't use other malarial medicine, we no work. If you get malaria, lock them down.
Lock them down. Lock them down. Make I rush go come. We go lock them down.
Thank you.
What did you say you do?
I don't know.
Carry me go see him.
Egg! What's it be this? Why you can't lock them down with chain and padlock for anybody? My Maxwell say make we lock malaria. Don't be padlock, oh. Lock them down with Lockmal. Lockmal, now the ogbonge medicine from Emzor. We go lock down and kaput malaria. Sharp, sharp.
Lockmal is a brand of artemether and lumefantrine used for the treatment of malaria. Proudly manufactured by Emzor in Nigeria.
How your wife take lock you down with chain like this?
Lockmal, lock down malaria fast.
Egg! What's it be this? Why you can't lock them down with chain and padlock for anybody? My Maxwell say make we lock my
More QS Combi. You also get 12